Money boy, money boy, money boy. Trade. Money boy, money boy, money boy. Trade.
Private jet flights overseas. Damn piece.
Question: Do you agree with Black Lives Matter?
Yes and no. I believe that Black Lives Matter as far as we're looking at systemic racism, but just saying that Black lives matter, but brown lives and other lives don't matter, then no, I don't agree with that. Everybody should matter.
What is systemic racism?
Looking at, I would say just being pulled over just because you're Black, or the likelihood that I'm going to, if I get out of the car, if a Black man gets out of a car with a rifle, he's going to be shot. Whereas a white man can get out of a car holding that same rifle. He has a good likelihood that he's going to be put in the back of a police car and taken to get McDonald's after he killed every damn body before he goes to jail.
Have you been pulled over before because you were Black?
No, actually.
Do you think LeBron James in his Brentwood, Hollywood, Beverly Hills area has ever been pulled over because he was Black?
Yeah, for somebody who didn't recognize who he was, yeah.
This nigga been famous since he was 14. He's 36. You want to say that again?
Yeah, I'm serious. I would believe if there was someone who did not know who he was.
He has never come out with that story.
And I don't think he would.
Why wouldn't he? He came out and said his damn house was spray painted with the word nigger on it when he was in damn Cleveland. And before the police could get there to make the report, the shit was covered up. He came out with that story. Why wouldn't he come out and be like, man, I was driving in Brentwood one day and the police pulled him over. They ain't know who it was.
I just don't think he would. But I really believe if there was someone who did not know who he was, then he would be.
Has systemic racism stopped you from opening up and owning 3 businesses?
No.
So what is it then?
It's just what I just said. There's a stigmatism of, for instance, my vehicle, I won't let my son, my oldest son, drive my vehicle. Why? Because I figure if someone sees him and his color in my car, being a male at his age, he's going to immediately be pulled over. They're not going to hear that's my mom's car. They may not even ask to give him a chance to get license and registration to prove who he is. I'm serious. That's how I feel.
Are you teaching him this seriously?
I'm very serious.
But
I'm very serious.
Me too. I'm saying, why would you teach him that if you haven't even experienced that in your car? You're teaching fear.
I'm not teaching fear. I'm teaching him to be aware of fear. It's not that I don't have a fear, but honestly, women do get pulled over. Now, there's been instances, but women get pulled over less, or Black women get pulled over less than Black men will. And that's just my opinion. So, yes, I teach them not fear, but I'm teaching him to be aware. There's certain, if there's not a need for you to be in this type of flashy vehicle like this in this area, don't do it.
But you're assuming that he's going to encounter someone that stereotypes him. And in Memphis, there are more Black officers than there are white officers.
That's true.
Why would you need to teach him to be scared of the white officer when you're in a city where there are more Black officers and you haven't even been profiled for the vehicle that you drive?
I don't care if they're Black or white. Some people just have a power mentality. I believe a lot of officers, and I know some wonderful police officers that I love very dearly, but Black or white police officers, most of the time they get that power mentality. So I'm not teaching him that watch out for the white. I'm talking about any, just period, because they feel that they have that power mentality and it goes to their head. And so now they unprofiled you and you ain't even did nothing.
The only thing I've talked to my son about a traffic stop, he's 17, is to, when he gets pulled over, put both hands on the steering wheel, roll your window down, put both hands on the steering wheel. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's it. I don't tell him that he may get pulled over because he's black, because he may never get pulled over in his life. There are people that never get pulled
Right.
over. So and that's one of the things I had to. That's one of the things I give my mom credit for too. She never gave us that there's this whole big racism thing, and I appreciate it now because if you've never experienced it, then to you it doesn't exist. And I can say that I've never experienced it, so there's no need for me to tell my son that somebody may be able to get you, or this is going to happen. That's why I was asking you about systemic racism, because we'll say that a lot while we've never been a victim of it. You were able to start a business. Right. I was able to start a business. A lot of people are able to start businesses. And the only difference between us and everybody else is we had the drive to say, fuck it, I'm going to go do it. We stopped making excuses and we just did it.
I agree with that. But I still believe in my kids. I'm not instilling fear in them, but I want them to be aware that everything ain't always just peaches and cream.
Question. So, has their dad taught them that?
No. This is me. I can tell you, this all me.
95% of the problem. And I'm going to assume that their dad is black, right?
Yes.
There's a reason that he hasn't taught them that as a black man, because we understand that we're subconsciously teaching our kids to be in fear of white people constantly with that mentality. I mean, you don't mean any harm by it. You care for your son, and that's why you're saying, but you want your son to come home every day. But subconsciously, women don't realize they're telling black men that you're going to be pulled over just because you're black. And that's like really not the truth. That may have been true once upon a time, but that's really not the case anymore. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's not a majority thing.
But I don't want them. I think my thing is they need to know both sides. And also, like my kids, my two youngest kids, they have experienced colorism. They are very much lighter than I am. And they didn't understand it. Moving here has been a culture shock.
Who did they experience it from?
Children at school.
Keep it 99.9% real. What color were those children?
With my daughter, they were the dark-skinned black girls. And my daughter's very fair with light eyes.
And you know who taught them that?
They mama.
95% of the black community. You've agreed with me twice. Let's keep moving.
I'm being honest. It was their mom, and I had to teach her that. Coming home from school in tears, I had to teach her, or even going up to the school and having kids say, "That ain't your mama." Like, how that ain't my baby? My baby look just like me. I'm just several shades darker than she is, but she did not understand that. She didn't understand why they was being so mean to her, or why they were saying what they were saying to her. So then I had to go into, okay, yeah, I want to make you aware. I don't want to make you have fear, but you need to be aware so you can know how to handle it.
Do you think colorism is more of an issue that affects blacks than systematic racism? Keeping 99.9% real.
Before, if I hadn't had my daughter, I would say no. But now with my daughter, yeah. Because I see it. I didn't see that because I'm darker. But seeing it through her eyes and the stuff, and she's young, she's only 10. She about to be 10. Seeing and listening to the stories she tell me just coming from school, and we talking about 4th graders, 3rd graders, 5th graders. So I would say yeah, because the things that are coming out these little girls' mouth, they're not making it up. They ain't coming up with it all. This stuff that's being poured into them from some as angry ass black woman.
Yes. And then that's another thing, like dads don't, men understand that we're judged by the world, so that shit doesn't bother us. We have black women say they don't date dark men. We got white women say they don't date black men. We have everybody saying that. We're used to people telling us what they don't accept, so it doesn't bother us like it does women.
Right. That's true. I unfriend a lot of men. That is a pet peeve. I cannot stand to see a man commenting on, it was some guy, he made a post that said, dark-skinned women get fed steak and potatoes. Light-skinned women get fed. It was like McDonald's or some shit like that. And I immediately unfriended because I'm like, come on now. You just, I understand now. I'm all for a good joke. I post bullshit all day. But some stuff, it's like, okay. Now what, and I went through, and this is your constant, okay, you like dark-skinned women. I just say that. It ain't gotta be why is there such a separation?
Right. I personally love dark-skinned women.
And that's your preference.
I just say I love them. I'm saying I don't dislike anybody else. I'm just saying I have an affinity for them. They're at the top of my list, but everybody else gets dated too.
Right. But I've seen several, and that particular one, it just got on my nerve. Like, that was just, okay, come on. That's just too much. And I'll be honest, I think I know it's because I have a very light child. Both of my children are light.
Who tell them they got pretty hair and shit all the time?
I don't really do that. It's usually the kids at school. Even my kids didn't even know there was a difference until it's school. They come home and get asked, well, why is my baby has asked me before, is she white? I'm like, no, baby, you are very black. Your mama black, your daddy black. This, your melon just decided to do this. This is what it decided to do. And
I have 3 boys and 1 daughter. And my daughter's only 2. So my boys haven't experienced this. I don't expect them to have to.
Yeah, so I've had her come home where she's been told she was adopted because I came to the school and the little girl told me that couldn't be your mama. And you must be adopted because your mama ain't got green eyes. Your mama dark and she got brown eyes, but your eyes green. And she come home crying. I'm like, look, first of all, they don't know your mama is 1/4 ratchet. I would come up there and drag them kids. And I'm trying not to do this. I'm drag kids, the mama, the grandma, and the auntie. So I need you to tell them before I'm going to teach you how to check this. So I don't have to come up there and check it because it's going to be very ugly if I do. Typically,
I'm non-violent, but my breaking point is fucking with the kids.
Yes.
You can do anything. You can fuck with everybody else except for
leave the kids alone. Exactly. Leave the kids alone.
And that go for mama, whoever, stranger, anybody. Nobody can attack the kids.
Right. Anybody can get it.
Yeah. So again, let me ask you again. In your life personally, is police brutality and systematic racism one of the biggest issues in your life personally?
No.
So why do you think it is not? It is like that for a lot of us. So why do you think we hearken on that more than other stuff? Because that's what's portrayed in the media. That's what's being centralized. That's what we see. So because that's what's always put in front of us, a lot of us are not going to go and research or read or look at anything else other than what they want to give you.
MONEYBOY, trade, MONEYBOY, trade.
Private jet flights overseas.